This is Suboxone withdrawal day 10. Just wanted to touch base and just number one start with last night. This morning it was actually day 10 at 6 a.m. I'm still waking up at night. I feel really good when I initially wake up. What happens is my legs start aching and my stomach starts kind of hurting a little bit. But when I take the multivitamins and I take especially the B complex, it really seems to help, especially with my energy levels, because I still wake up feeling kind of heavy. But other than that, I'm pretty clear-headed. I feel pretty good today, and I'm just ready to get on with my day. One thing that, anybody coming off Suboxone, I'm learning through this process, really needs to do, or any opiate for that matter, is that they really, really, really need to stay away from the horror stories. I'm watching these videos, and I'm reading the comments underneath a lot of these videos, and I am absolutely blown away by the level of ignorance. First of all, if you guys do not understand what opiate withdrawal is, if you do not understand how non-discriminating these drugs can actually be to the human condition, and it doesn't matter who you are. I don't think people seem to understand that. It's easy to judge somebody that's on the drugs without understanding the circumstances surrounding the reason for that drug use. Mine, unfortunately, was the fact that I lived at a pain level of an 8 or a 9 because of severe damage in my neck. But other people use it for pain, and just because it's not physical pain doesn't mean that it's not pain. And I think that, the disconnect is from a lot of people that, again, are just spouting propaganda about things they know nothing about. These videos are designed to help other people, and I guess that's one of the reasons that I made the decision to do all of this. It's experience, strength, and hope. And I think that's what a lot of people are looking for is, the understanding that, hey, I can get through this and I can do this too. These videos, nobody's paying me to do these videos. I saw that written in one of the comments. I couldn't believe that somebody would actually think that I'm being paid to make these videos. I physically went through hell for, 10 days because I want my life back, not because I'm being paid to do this. Guys, there's a lot of chemical deficiencies in your brain when you stop doing this. One thing that I've learned over the last 15 years is that when you go into opiate withdrawal, your dopamine is through the roof at first. But then what happens is once you go into withdrawal, your dopamine basically plummets to zero. But it leaves you in a very agitated and aggravated feeling because of noradrenaline, which is something that also increases as you increase your dopamine. And because your brain no longer has the ability to access that drug, which promotes the dopamine production, you're left with only the noradrenaline, which is why the withdrawals are all uncomfortable. The other issue too is that your hypothalamus is going through a lot of changes hormonally. It doesn't know how to regulate your body temperature. It doesn't know how to do a lot of things it should be. And your hypothalamus, if you look it up, is connected to a lot of various different bodily functions, such as even your ability to understand that you're thirsty. I didn't understand why when I would go through the first 3 or 4 days of withdrawals, even though I had shit myself basically stupid, but that I didn't feel thirsty even though I was completely dehydrated. That was something that I had to remember to tell myself, is to drink water, drink water, drink water. You're expelling all of these liquids from your body. You need to replenish those liquids. And I think that went a really long way. But you guys need to understand what the processes are and why your body goes into the physical withdrawals. You need to understand what can counteract those withdrawals, what can increase the dopamine, what can increase your endorphins naturally. Now, I wouldn't suggest to anyone that on day 2, 3, or 4 that you go running. I mean, that's entirely up to the individual. If you feel like you're capable of running, then by all means go for a run. I know that for the first 4 days, I was barely able to get out and go for a walk, which I had to physically force myself to get my ass off the couch and force myself to walk. Even if it was just around the block, it helped. It'll help with the restlessness. It'll help with your insomnia. I mean, it helps with a lot of things, and it helps get the toxins out of your body. Guys, this is your freedom. This is your life. And it's not just your freedom in your life. It's your ability to feel things again. And see, people don't understand what Suboxone does. They don't understand that it's constantly channeling the dopamine away from you, and you're not able to feel happy anymore. I mean, you're not feeling a full range of emotion. Every single person that I've read about or seen that wants to come off this drug is desperate to do it because they recognize, and it's something that I see chronically, is that they are like, I just don't feel things, and then I get so angry about everything. But it's just what the drug does to you. It's just what it does to you. You can't be afraid to get off the Suboxone because you're thinking about what the opiate withdrawal was like. It's not going to be as bad, and especially if you do the taper the way that you are supposed to do the taper. Listen, guys, you can't listen to everything the doctors say. You know, they have a stake in not your recovery, but in lining their pockets and in getting money for, you know, having 100 patients maximum a month. If you guys do the math, that's somewhere around $40,000 per month for these freaking doctors. You know, for as far as I'm concerned, and this is just my own personal opinion, they are well-paid drug addicts, or drug dealers, excuse me. Maybe that's not appropriate YouTube talk. I don't really know what is, and I don't really give a crap. But I'm a little angry. I'm a little angry at the absolute ignorance that most of these doctors display. Because it's not something that should be taken long-term. And if doctors had any concern whatsoever for your well-being, they would be proactively trying to help you come off and titrate down off of this drug. And oftentimes what I see is people saying how not only didn't the doctor help them, but then encourage them to go up on even higher doses. That's insanity to me. That's freaking insanity. My doctor, I don't think, liked me, and I didn't care. Because every time I walked into his office, I was dropping it by another 2 milligrams. And he was almost like, how dare you drop your dosage without talking to me first. And I'm thinking, who the hell are you? I'm 38 years old. I have a 20-year-old and a grandson. You're not going to tell me what to do with my life. And that's where I had to take my recovery into my own hands. You know, I had to educate myself, and I had to understand the processes that I was not only currently going through on the drug, but also what I was going to physically go through once I came off the drug. And again, guys, you know, supplements help. They're not fix everything. They're there to help you. They're there to give you nutrients that your body needs, and they're there to make the withdrawal symptoms subdued a little bit, okay, to make them a lot more tolerable. You know, but if you guys really want this, do it. You know, I'm going to talk about intrinsic value today in being alone when you're going through this process. You know, we depersonalize when we're going through the withdrawal process. We don't know how to interact with other people. And I think that oftentimes the anxiety of being around other people in that kind of a condition exacerbates the symptoms in such an intense way, because now all of a sudden you're having to interact with all of these people when you feel like you just don't feel like being around people. So again, I was lucky. If you guys can get away to a safe, quiet place where you can be alone for at least 10 days, you know, you've got it made. You can kick this. I just did. Today's day 10. Tomorrow will be the final day that this Suboxone's still in my system, because it takes roughly about 11 days. And the process that I've also been going through is cleansing my liver, because I want those metabolites out as quickly as possible. If I were to take a Suboxone drug test, or a drug test that detects Suboxone, even a week from now, if those metabolites were still in my liver, I'm still going to fail a drug test for buprenorphine. So anyway, you guys got this. And I'm going to go about my day. If I feel up to it maybe later and I have some more stuff to talk to you guys about, I'll make sure to make another video. Have a good day.